In the days after the great flood, the world exhaled and began again. The earth was clean, the sky was wide, and the people were one. They spoke the same language, they sang the same songs, they dreamed the same dreams. Together they built villages, tended fields, raised families. Their laughter filled the valleys, and peace stretched from mountain to sea. Among them was Nimru, a gifted builder, clever and bold. His hands could shape stone, but his eyes were fixed on the sky. He believed the people could rise above the earth, even reach heaven itself. His childhood friend, Eyla, was a keeper of stories. She watched the world with quiet wisdom. Tariq, a skilled artisan, shaped ideas into symbols when words weren't enough. The three had grown together, but slowly Nimru's dreams had grown taller than they could follow. One day, Nimru stood before the people and spoke with fire in his voice. "Let us build a tower," he said, "a monument that reaches the heavens. Let it be our name, so we are never forgotten." The crowd stirred, and then they cheered. They gathered brick and stone. They mixed mortar and raised wooden scaffolds. Songs echoed as the first stones were laid. The Tower of Babel had begun. Higher and higher it climbed. With pulleys and platforms, invention and sweat, they defied gravity. And for a time, even the gods. Nimru beamed with pride. "This tower will be our crown," he declared, "a sign of our greatness." But Eyla frowned. "Why chase heaven," she asked, "when we are already blessed?" He did not answer. He could no longer hear her warnings. He could only hear the crowd. As the tower grew, so did the pressure. Days grew longer. Nights burned with firelight. Workers began mishearing orders. Frustration simmered under each stone. Tariq, seeing confusion rise, carved images, symbols to guide the builders, a sun for day, a brick for stone, a hand for help. But even the symbols began to blur. Then came the storm. Dark clouds swirled. A bolt of lightning struck the top of the tower. Some gasped, some fled, but Nimru smiled. "This is the gods blessing us," he cried. The next morning, the first words broke. A builder asked for stone and received water. Another called for help and was met with laughter. Tongues twisted, sentences collapsed. The people stared at each other in confusion and fear. And then came the voice. It rolled across the skies, not a single voice, but many, loud and soft, deep and high, words from no known tongue. It wasn't wrath, it was confusion. The tower stood tall, but the people fell apart. Arguments broke out, teams split, tools dropped, anger flared, chaos erupted. The unity that built the tower had cracked. The people, once one, became many. Different languages, different thoughts, different paths. And so they left. Some walked toward the forest, others toward the mountains or the sea. Each group followed a voice they could understand. The tower, half built, was abandoned. It stood alone, silent and unfinished. Nimru climbed to its peak. There, surrounded by empty scaffolds and broken dreams, he saw the truth. They had built a monument, not to their greatness, but to their pride. Eyla did not return to the tower. She went to a cave, and in flickering firelight, she carved their story, not in words, but in symbols, so that even if no one spoke the same tongue, the lesson would live on. And from that scattering, something new was born. Each people made their home, new languages, new traditions, new rhythms and stories, and in every distant land, children drew suns and stars and told stories in firelight. They had been divided by voice, but not by spirit. And the Tower of Babel, once the pride of men, became a whisper in the wind, a lesson carved in stone. And far from its ruins, the children of many nations laughed, danced, and sang beneath the same sky. They built a tower to reach the heavens. But it was not the tower that endured. It was the story. From unity came pride. From pride came division. From division came diversity. And through diversity, humanity grew. The end. Please like, share, and follow for more.